You know, school is hard for me. I only use part of my mind. So this is really hard for me. Ray J was like, I could tell. And then she was like, F you, Ray J. She going off. And then I think Quay or Ryan was like, oh, you know, don't cry, Tiffany. She was like, took off her girl. She said, I'm not gonna ever cry. I'm not gonna cry over Ray J. I'm not gonna cry over Ray J. We get in the confessional, girl. Y'all, she crying. She crying over Ray J. You know, I'm just crying because, you know, they don't understand how hard school really is for me. It's just really hard, and school's always been difficult for me. Oh my God, oh my God. Give Tiffany her Oscar and her Emmy tonight. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Y'all already know I'm Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This video, we are talking College Hill Celebrity Edition, y'all. This is season 2, episode 5. Magic City, Here We Come was the title. Before we get into it all, y'all, please do not hesitate to hit that thumbs up button. If you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach goals over here, okay? Let's support. Speaking of support, I want to give a special shout out to a fellow YouTuber, Shayna McD. She always supports all of the up and coming YouTubers and some of the ones who are already well known. She is very, very supportive of everybody. So I just wanted to show her some support because I always see her supporting everybody, and I want to make sure she receives that same support back. So Shayna girl, can continue to do your thing on these YouTube streets. Y'all gotta support these YouTubers, gotta support them, okay? Give new channels a chance is what I say. That's how you discover them. I discover so many of my favorites just by, you know, searching and supporting. So that's what we gotta do. Anywho, subscribe to this channel if I didn't say that. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think of this season of College Hill Celebrity Edition. Is y'all even watching it? Share the video too, where y'all like to share y'all videos. Let's get into it. I'm on episode 5, so don't comment about the fight on this video. I heard they didn't even show the fight though, so I'm gonna do episode 6 probably this weekend sometime, and we're gonna talk about all that nonsense. It's sad that the girls fought though. It was Amber Rose versus Joseline, so y'all already know. Anywho, let's get into the review. So, you know, the episode picks up where they left off with the scheme set up by Todd and BET Plus to have the team members late to the acting challenge midterm where they're doing the interviews. The other teammates showed up after Ray J played around with finding his phone. Ray J shows up in a suit. How did he all of a sudden show up in a suit? Like, you know, it was so contrived. Like, come on. They wasn't really calling them to find them. It was so produced. Anyway, so they came. So the first interview we saw was Orion interviewing Ray J to be like a funeral home worker, and so he was saying like you're gonna be hard, you know, have a hard time moving dead bodies. Ray J was like, oh, actually, you know, between me and you, I've made love in the casket before. He was like, you know, we can't be having sex with the dead bodies. He's like, oh no, it was with my wife in the casket. You know, everybody's cracking up. We also saw, let me see, Quay interviewed Joseline. It was like a acting role, and she had to do a scream. She did a crazy scream. Everybody's cracking up at that. By the way, Joseline, what are you wearing to class? Joseline wearing clothes to class like she just rolled out of bed. Looked like she had on her robe and pajamas. Girl, I know you're trying to show off all your designer labels, all your Versace's and whatnot, but that is not how you come to class. One thing I don't like about this season that I like that they did this season is that they got on the people about being appropriate for class. Because everybody was not appropriate for class. I ain't gonna even say the girls. I'm gonna say the men and the women. They did not look professional. They did not look appropriate. I'm not saying they had to wear their suit and tie at all times, but like some of the stuff they was wearing, like you would not wear that to class. It was inappropriate. Anywho, they highlighted that more last season. I wish they would have this season. Anywho, we had Parker and Iman, like they was doing a dating or a call service. I don't know what kind of interview that was, y'all. And then we also had New York and Amber. Amber was interviewing New York to do like a nursing thing. She said her husband lost his prick. She trying to get it back. She trying to work with the elderly. She also worked with geriatrics. Amber Rose was like, that is elderly. She was like, oh, I thought that was children. I'm like, Tiffany, what's going on? So the professor, he was happy with what they did with that. Then they went on to their French midterm. I don't know what they were speaking, but it was not French. They was like, au revoir, Jimmy, Brandy. They was doing, like, what was they saying? Like, now, granted, I was not the French girl. I did Spanish all in high school, and for my undergrad, I did Spanish as well. I still suck with speaking it, but I can understand stuff. I'm un poquito, okay, ¿cómo estás? But anywho, I even went to Mexico on a mission trip in college, y'all. I was a hot mess. Anywho, but nevertheless, like, French was not giving French for me. Quay even said he was making up his own little Spanglish. Like, Joseline got to the point where Ray J, she was like, the thing is, I don't understand what he's saying. So then she was trying to spell her name in French. She's like, and then it just got real sexual. Orion was like, this is a TV family show, y'all. Like, turn it down a notch. So anywho, you know, they did their French finals, or, you know, they had to have a conversation with each other. Like, they ran into each other on the street. So then we see them go home, and, you know, they got to prepare for a whole nother day of midterms, not finals, the next day. We see, I believe it was Amber, Ray J, and I want to say Orion outside talking, and Amber Rose was sharing how she struggles with her identity and fitting in. Like, you know, she likes to listen to her heavy metal music and her rap, and then so then sometimes Black people might look at her sideways with the type of music she listens to, and she ought to date the white guys, and then she don't feel secure in her essence. That's why I don't particularly care a day outside my race. But that's a whole nother topic for another time. But anywho, so she don't really feel understood. You know, the white people be telling her she too Black. You know, I didn't know Amber Rose was having all this identity issues. I really didn't. We're learning a lot about her and her background from this show, for sure. And so, you know, Ray J was like, just be yourself, and which is good advice. Amber said that's hard for her, which I'm just shocked. She just, you never know, you know, based on what a person looks like, because how bold she is, you know, to wear her short haircut and, you know, the tattoos and the piercings. Like, you would just never know what someone is going through. People can look like they got it all together and they are super confident on the outside, but they can be going through it in the inside, y'all. Y'all really can't judge books by their cover and think somebody got it all together. Trust me. So, yeah, that was really insightful. So, they cheers. I think they had a little shot or something. You know, they're going to be all right. So, anywho, next day of finals. Let's talk about the Civil Rights Museum, or Civil Rights class final first. That's the class where they did go to the Civil Rights Museum. And so they had to talk about a part of civil rights and Black history that meant something personal for them. So Quay spoke first about Juneteenth. He grew up in Dallas, Texas. They also moved to Houston. Texas was one of the first states to celebrate Juneteenth in the 80s, making that a holiday. And then, you know, with the death of George Floyd, it became, Joe Biden made it a national holiday in 2021, I believe, which is amazing because let me tell y'all, this year, summer school, we get Juneteenth off. I'm so excited for that 3-day weekend because y'all know your girl need it. So, you know, it sucks that it took this long for us to get this holiday, but, you know, we got it and it's here. Let's get it popping on the Juneteenth. What y'all doing for Juneteenth? Drop it in the comments. Anywho, so he talked about how Juneteenth was special to him. Then we had Amber talked about CORE. I'm going out of order. I can't think of what CORE stands for, but I've heard of CORE and learned about CORE before. And basically, they were a coalition of not just Black people, but white people, other colored people fighting for civil rights. They were the first group to cross the color line. Amber shared as a mixed race person, you know, that meant a lot to her that they would, you know, come together, different races coming together to fight different issues. And, you know, they really worked with the civil rights movement as well. Who else shared? Joseline shared, I can't think of the name of that man she shared about, but he's a Puerto Rican guy. He was a part of activism as well and the Harlem Renaissance. He's a big part of that. And so it was special to her because he was from Puerto Rico and she's Puerto Rican as well, of course. Then we had, I think Iman spoke about the Chicago Defender, which is a newspaper, the newspaper of Chicago, and how they were important to moving the civil rights movement and publishing, you know, what was going on. So I thought that was interesting. Orion talked about the Black Panther movement, and, you know, he said he's from the West Coast, and that was big out here in the West Coast. If, you know, I believe in Oakland, they had the free lunch programs going on with the Black Panthers and all, you know, other stuff too, but that's the one thing I remember hearing about growing up, and that my grandma would tell me about. And so he was talking about where it originated from in Alabama and all that good stuff, which I didn't know. So that's cool. And then who else spoke? Somebody else spoke. I can't think of who it was now. Oh, Ray J. Ray J spoke about civil rights, and his grandfather. He spoke about this other guy that was an activist. I want to say the last name was Moses or Moss, but anyway, his grandfather that had the transportation company drove that guy, and they were, you know, leading people to the marches and stuff. They couldn't get off the bus. He shared about his grandfather's house being bombed in June of 1964. And so he said, you know, the grandfather survived it, but, you know, he's passed on now. And so, you know, of course, he wanted to honor his grandfather's legacy, and that meant a lot to him. So that was really everything everyone presented on and talked about, sorry, y'all, and shared about was very interesting to me. I really, really enjoyed those midterm presentations they did for the civil rights stuff. I really enjoyed that, y'all. Did y'all enjoy it? Let me know in the comments. If you're not a history person, maybe you didn't enjoy it. So anywho, let's get to the African American literature class, because this is where their midterms went wrong. They might be getting some C's and D's now. So in the African American literature class, they had to do their slave narratives or their what do they call it? Not the slave narratives, but the somebody is calling me and I don't know why. Oh my god. Anywho, slave narratives or Negro spirituals, I think, was what they were doing. Sorry, y'all. So I believe Tiffany and Parker went up first. First of all, what key was Tiffany singing in? I didn't know she was singing. You know, she talking about freedom and all this. Parker was over there doing a praise dance, and then she began to speak. And then it turned into women's rights, black women's rights. And the professor said she liked how we went into talking about the women's rights. However, like, where was the focus on African American, you know, how, like, would you hear it? Would you know that it was a spiritual or a freedom song or whatever? And so they kind of missed the mark. Then we had Iman, Joseline, Quay, and it was another, like, just regular student from the class go. And they were doing their thing. They were all saying, chanting different stuff at the same time. You couldn't even understand what they were saying. I had no clue what they were saying. And even Amber was like, it's not even making sense. The professor liked that they did the chanting, but she's like, again, would you recognize it to be like a freedom song or a spiritual, you know, a spiritual? Would you recognize it? No, you wouldn't. So anyway, then we had Amber, Ray J, and another student from the class. I think Quay was in that group. I had that wrong. Quay was in that group. It's Amber, Ray J, Quay, and like another student from the class. They read their slave narrative, and it was about how the girl used to shave the master, and she slit his throat, and she ran off to Rhode Island to freedom. You know, the professor was like, you know, going in that direction is good. However, like, with those narratives and escapes to freedom, like, the first thing they do is get free in the mind first. So they kind of missed the the point of it, I think. They didn't focus on that part. They were too much focused on the gore, which Amber likes. So the professor said, like, all of the midterm projects were lacking the fundamental academic piece of it, and you could definitely tell. One thing from my college students out there. I got a little bit of college-age students. And, you know, some of us be older in colleges. I was just in college in 2018 for the third time. But anywho, make sure you focus on the main point of the assignment. Like, it's good to be creative, but make sure you hit on what they're looking for, okay? Word of advice. Anywho, Tiffany was like, this is not what you want to hear after you do your midterms. It's not. It's not. But, you know, they're happy to be done with midterms. They can go home, relax, celebrate, have a drink. Tiffany calls a friend of hers and she has a cocktail. I love how she always says she's drinking a cocktail. That's what the grown, sophisticated ladies say. Okay, they drinking a cocktail. So, anywho, she was just saying, you know, she's just falling apart. She's struggling. You know, she can't do going on these midterms. Maybe school's for her, not for her. You know, she just really wants to get it together. You know, school has not been her strong point. So then she was trying to go to the bathroom and she stepped on Ray J's, I forgot what it was called, a honey bee cake or something, honey bun cake, some kind of cake. Now, I don't know why he left his cake on the floor. That's trifling. That's nasty. The house is filthy dirty. We did see Parker in there cleaning. Joseline says she don't clean. She want to just have sex. Anywho, we can tell. So, then New York, so she went off on Ray J about his cake being on the floor. She stepped on it, and so she's like, you know, we're living in a filthy pigsty, like, this is not okay. And so she, you know, cursing out Ray J, going off on him. And so she was like, you know, school is hard for me. I only use part of my mind. So this is really hard for me. Ray J was like, I could tell. And then she was like, F you, Ray J. She going off. And then I think Quay or Ryan was like, oh, you know, don't cry, Tiffany. She was like, took off her glass. She said, did I look like I ever cry? I'm not going to cry over Ray J. I'm not going to cry over Ray J. We get in the confessional, girl. Y'all, she crying. She crying over Ray J. You know, I'll just cry because, you know, they don't understand how hard school really is for me. It's just really hard, and school's always been difficult for me. Oh my God, oh my God. Give Tiffany her Oscar and her Emmy tonight. Yes. I was like, yes, come through New York. The New York came through, yes. That's how New York used to do it, okay? And she's delivering the entertainment right now. I loved it. But, you know, if she really is struggling with school, that sucks. But if you're giving your all and your best, girl, it's fine. Later on, we see her circle back to Ray J and apologize, and they making jokes about, you know, maybe she would like the honey cake in her toes and blah, blah, blah. And she explained that, like, it was bigger issues going on. She just struggling with school, and she admires Ray J in the process, and he came back a second time, and he said, you know, let's just finish strong. He wasn't mad. I wish he would apologize for leaving food on the floor. Like, why are you leaving food on the floor? Like, how old are you? Anyway, y'all, we see Quay and Parker and New York go practice for the Magic City Classic. They getting ready. Parker is in her head. She's not getting the boom cack. She is not getting the 5, 6, 7, 8 of it all. She needs a Lorianne Gibson stat. Like, she's not getting the moves. She is struggling. The guy told her, like, look, these girls have been doing this dance forever. Like, it's intimidating. Like, you got this. Like, she just needs to get out of her head. She's doing too much. She's doing way too much. Anyway, she called her mom, and she said her mom is the whitest of white, but, you know, she never makes her feel any different. And, you know, she is definitely connecting more with her black side, being at this HBCU and the culture and all that, which surprises me that, you know, I'm like, does she not feel as connected to her black side? Because she was on, like, one of the top African-American shows, comedies, My Wife and Kids, like, not that they made black culture a big thing, but it kind of was built into the show. Like, I don't know. I would have never thought about that with her. You know, same thing with Amber Rose struggling with her biracial identity. I would have never thought that with Parker because she's in so much black spaces. We haven't seen her really outside of black spaces. So that, you know, you just never know. Like I said, you never know about people, y'all. So anywho, now we getting down to the Magic City Classic. Iman said in his confessional, you know, I'm ready to see everybody do their thing. He want to see Tiffany do her twirl. He want to see Quay do his, you know, marching band thing. He want to see Parker do all this. All the moves he was doing, I was cracking up. Iman is a character. I love him on the show. So, you know, again, Quay is nervous. He's trying to get the moves. Tiffany's a little nervous, but she's ready to show out. There's plenty of people there. I would love to go to Magic City Classic. If y'all ever been, let me know how it is in the comments. I would love to go to the Magic City Classic. So, y'all know I didn't go to HBCU, so I want all the HBCU experiences, okay? So, you know, they show them tailgating. They had a little tent and table. They cooking and everything. You know, Orion want a shot. Tiffany's like, what you want a shot of? And he's like, whiskey, please. She's like, you want a lime if I can find it? And so he grilled some meat on a stick, and he was like, oh, you want it? She's like, you're going to put it in my mouth? Is it hot and steamy? And she's like, do you think I could be valedictorian? And Ray J was like, ooh, Tiffany got a fiance, but she over there getting it popping with Orion. He was like, the same thing is, but, you know, I ain't telling. And so then she was like, how much should I take, just a tip or all of it? He's like, you take as much as you want. So then, Orion, he was still Tiffany too. So anyway, he was like, you can get a valedictorian, but not be valedictorian. So she's like, I'm trying really hard. And so anyway, we see them perform. Parker was still struggling at the very, very last minute. The girl in the blonde hair was like, no, that's not the move. What's the big finish? Come on, 5, 6, 7, 8, get it together. Parker wasn't getting it. I was like, where's the finish? Parker, don't F it up. So anyway, they go and perform. Tiffany did amazing with the flag twirl. She was showing up and showing out. Everybody was impressed. Orion liked what he saw. Quay was hitting the moves as well. You know, they did the halftime show. I was wondering, y'all, because I do watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I do not review it. And remember how Kenya was supposed to perform at the halftime show at the Magic City Classic? I wonder, was this the same performance? And I think we had talked about that on here before. Anyway, if anybody has an idea if that was the same performance or not, let me know in the comments. So anywho, Parker, she showed up and showed out too. I don't know why she was struggling. You know, she said she was never a dancer. Her mom would put her in dance. She was not about that dance life. Anyway, like, girl, you was fine. So, end of the night, you know, everyone had a good time. They go home. Magic City Classic was fun. Everybody go to the wooden table, as Quay said. They drinking, they vibing with the music. Then it becomes a power struggle over the aux cord. Amber Rose, I guess, is controlling the aux cord. She not playing the music that Joseline liked. Joseline want to hear whatever she want to hear. They gets to arguing and tussling over the aux cord. I don't see what the big deal was. I would have got up and left if that wasn't my vibe. That's all I would have done. Or just, you know, go with the flow. Like, it's not that serious. So then, and sometimes, you know, you need to listen to other people's music so you can hear what you might like and learn something. So anyway, you know, Joseline, so Quay didn't like how Joseline was being. She, you know, he's like, I know she know to start stuff in the house. You know, she want to act like this is hers and it's not. So then Quay jumped in, I guess, to defend Amber, but then Amber wasn't defending him. So then we see them kind of get into it with the little night camera, and he doesn't like the fact that she wasn't, you know, having his back when she was defending her. And so she was saying, like, look, you know, Joseline get on my nerves, but it wasn't all that deep. Like, and he's like, come on, let me just talk to you. Amber's like, I just need space. Like, nah, she basically packed her backpack and she go downstairs to sleep somewhere else. He's like crying in the confessional. He's like, I was really high from Magic City. And now my friend is not going to be in the room with me. And I don't understand why. Yeah, I had too much tequila. Clearly you had too much to drink, Quay, but it's okay. Amber said she didn't have time for the crying and the BS, and I didn't either. It really wasn't that serious. Amber said she's just trying to have a good time for a short time. Anyway, that's where they left off with the drama. We're going to get to episode 6 and talk about the more drama happening. I hope it don't make me irritated with the show. I don't even know how many more episodes we got after 6. Probably like 8, though. Anyway, I mean, 2 more makes 8. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I will talk to y'all soon at another time. Bye.